Asia May, Johnny Taylor, how the hell are you guys?
Fantastic.
Doing
Happy
good.
Saturday.
Yeah, it's so good to see you guys. I always get jump right into it, and I forget to give you guys a chance to introduce yourselves. So, starting with Asia, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Say a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Asia May, and I am just a wacky girl from up here in Sacramento. Such a pleasure to be on this pod with Jesse talking about fun things other than comedy and being a comedian. So I'm really happy to be here, you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, Asia.
I'm Johnny Taylor. I'm a stand-up comedian here in Sacramento also. I love Prince, so I'm very excited to talk about Prince songs with Jesse. It seems like I've been on Jesse-related podcasts quite a few times. They're always fun.
Oh, thank you, Johnny. It's always fun to have you. And when you messaged me, like you're like, oh, that Prince one's gonna be fire. And I was like, fuck yeah, join us. Because
Oh yeah, man. I love Prince.
Yeah, 4 is the perfect number, but I know it's only 3, but there's supposed to be 4. But we'll get into that.
Who's missing, Jesse?
Jackie Pearl is missing.
Jackie Pearl.
It's crazy that she's missing because she was our hype man all week long. But we got a lot of early morning messages from her, and I think she fell back asleep. That's at least what I'm hoping.
If we would have done this show at 5:30 in the morning,
we should have just went with it then, right?
Yeah, we should have just been like, okay, fire up the Zoom.
We should have. We should have. Okay, so we are here to discuss Rest in Peace. Who'd have thought? I thought this guy was going to live forever.
We all did.
Forever in our hearts.
But it doesn't feel the same. But he does live forever.
It was a sad day. Was it 5 years ago, Asia?
Yeah, 4/21/17. 4 years ago.
4 years ago, yeah. And you know, the thing about Prince is like, you never heard controversy about him. You never heard like, oh, he did this or he was out doing this. You heard like these amazing stories about secret shows and all you know, guest appearances and these other great stories, but you never heard bad stuff about him. And
37 years of a career without any wacky stuff besides a tattoo on his face, you know, and a symbol for a name.
Yeah, just like normal wacky stuff, right? not like nefarious wacky stuff.
Exactly. So that was a sad day, but you're right. He lives on, and we're here to discuss not the top 5 albums, but the top 5 songs of Prince. And how hard was this, Asia?
I ain't gonna lie. I have a bajillion things on my list. It was very difficult. I feel like we could have gone one album top 5. I don't know, but
yeah,
our other guests feels a little bit differently about that. But it was very, very hard. Very hard.
Yeah, I think honestly, you could have done top 5 off of each album. That's how many great songs are on each album. But I do have a pretty diverse list, which I'm proud of. So it's and these aren't like I chose with what my favorite Prince songs are. I didn't think about popularity. I didn't think about, you know, top 10, you know, the number 1 hits. I didn't, you know,
yeah.
This wasn't a popularity contest. I went with what I think. Can you guys hear that? They're blowing leaves outside my door.
Oh, barely. Well, my dog was attacking someone outside my door. So
yeah, it's annoying the living fuck out of me.
The bird in the wall will start talking soon. So
we all got shit. We all got things.
I mean, it wouldn't be a Zoom meeting without it, you know.
Right?
Yeah. It wouldn't be a Zoom meeting if there wasn't a random kid crying or like some kind of house noise. But yeah, this was super hard. Every time I thought my list was complete, I would put on a Prince playlist. And even today, just like driving over to the co-op, like a song came on, I was like, fuck, how is this not on my list?
I'm going to be disappointed halfway through this. Every time you guys name your number 5, I would be like, I should have chose that one.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get this party started, man. And we're going to go ladies first, of course, because we are gentlemen, if nothing else. So Asia May, what is your number 5?
I think I have to go for my number 5. I am going to go with a song called Reflections on the Musicology Musicology CD.
That's a hidden gem.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That whole album is a hit.
Musicology rules. I
You
totally
couldn't
agree.
get that album unless you went to that show, which I went to that show in 2000. And boy, 2001 maybe, or
Yeah, right around there.
unbelievable at the Memorial Auditorium. Unbelievable. He played for an extra hour after the show was over, but yeah, that one when I'm really need to get situated within my spirit, that song is definitely helpful.
Yeah, that's such a great song.
He was one of the first artists to do that, right? Like when you bought the ticket, it included the
Right.
It include like the price for the price of the ticket. It included you purchasing the album, and they gave it to you when you walked into the auditorium.
Right.
And I was the only person in Bakersfield not at that show.
Oh no.
Um,
Oh gosh, and it's even just a beautiful album cover, and the science of musicology. I talked to another artist years ago, DJ Quick, very different, but he talked about musicology in a sense where that's not what he called it, but he says there is a science to music. You can make people feel things based on sound. If you want people to feel this, you throw the drums in there. If you want them to feel that, and so that album was just priceless.
wow, you got deep on the fucking first.
I had to. The rest ain't gonna be that deep.
Oh my gosh. All right. Reflection from Musicology. All right. Oh, Jackie's not here, so let's skip over her. Johnny Taylor, what do you got at number 5?
Okay, so this was tough. The 5th one was actually the toughest for me, but one of my longtime personal favorites, Let's Pretend We're Married, off of 1999, which, in my opinion, as someone that, I like the sexual overtones in a lot of Prince's music, and for me, it hits every single thing that I love about Sex song by Prince. It's fucking even at the end where it's like, look here, Martian, I'm not saying this just to be nasty, but I sincerely want to fuck the taste out of your mouth. Do you relate? I'm like, that's my dude right there. That is my dude right there.
He is the master also, I think, of just encryption in these songs where you think you're listening to one thing and then you listen and go, whoa, wait a minute, this is something else. He did something else with that.
Totally. Yeah. And there's so many intricate parts of that tune. It's a funk song. It's a new wave synth song. He's got, flanged vocals, he's got, 5 different like vocal, pitches that he uses on the track. Dude was just such a genius, and it's so funny too. Like, I think that's one of the things where people miss Prince, miss about is how funny some of the lyrics are. It's so fucking hilarious. And that song to me is just like, from a comedic standpoint, it's so hilarious. It's just like, hey little baby, if you're free for a couple of hours, or maybe you aren't busy for the next 7 years, it's just like, he's just a master class in lyric writing. So yeah, Let's Pretend We're Married. I fucking love that jam.
Nice. Wow. Okay. Your guys' number 5s are both amazing. My number 5, I'm going like really basic, but it's really like what introduced me to Prince. Well, like first got me to be like, that's fucking cool, because I think I don't want to out anyone's age in here, because I know we're all like, but I think we're all of the age that we got to hear so much of this great stuff on the radio, and
yeah.
it was back in an era where like you couldn't just go to YouTube and play it on repeat. You're just like, oh fuck, did you hear the new Prince song? When did they play it? Like, and there was that kind of thing, but what first got me interested in Prince, what first made me like turn around and listen, was the title track 1999 from 1999.
Such a great song.
I was dreaming when I wrote this, forgive me if it goes astray.
Oh man.
And then
Dave uses that in the beginning of his, That
Uh-huh.
was so beautiful the way Dave picked those lyrics out and used them for that special couple years ago, Dave
Oh,
Chappelle. But
yes,
that, yeah,
yes. Yeah. And then the video where it's just like where like the was it Andre Simone was the other guitar player, how like he was just as prominent as Prince was in the back and forth of the vocals, you know? And life is just a party and parties weren't meant to last. And I remember like when it came out, like thinking to myself, 1999 is so far away.
right.
And now it is so far away in the past.
Did you
But
joke about the day you could play that song in 1999?
oh, dude,
Yeah, I
we had
remember.
it queued up like 3 days before.
Yeah,
Right. On your little mixtape. Oh, but we were past mixtapes by then.
No, no, we had it on CD. Come on, we had it on CD.
We burned it from LimeWire. Come on, Asia, get together.
No,
yeah.
I was one of those lame purists, like don't be stealing music from the artist.
Oh
Yeah.
no, you weren't that guy,
I
were
was
you?
that I was that guy for a while. Then I stole everything.
Yeah. You know, 1999 also, it took me forever. When I first heard that song, I was just a little kid. It took me forever to realize when he says, "There's a lion in my pocket and baby's ready to roar." He was talking about his dick. And it took me 20 years to realize that was
Figure that
like
out.
a creative euphemism for his dick. So again, Prince coming through with the symbology.
I think a lot of times with Prince songs, if you don't understand what he's talking about, he's probably just talking about his dick. Or
Right,
like-
right.
Right.
That's same with my act. That's one of the
Yeah.
things I got from Prince.
Yeah. All right, man. We're moving on to number 4. Oh, I was gonna say I didn't write Johnny's down, but that's Jackie's. It's blank. Okay.
Jackie's blank slate.
Asia, what is your number 4?
All right, my number 4. I still haven't lined these things up. I'm looking at this list going, okay, all right. If I have to go with number 4, I'm gonna say it is I love you, but I don't trust you.
Ooh,
Oh,
what's that from?
I don't even know. And so here's a fun fact. It's not even like I've heard his, half of his catalog. My mom wasn't a radio person. She just played the same albums all over the time. Eddie Murphy and Prince. Okay. Those were the things. So as the music started to be released after he passed away, I became hip to a lot more things. But this one, it's I love you, but I don't trust you anymore. And I'd love to attempt to sing it. But if
Yeah,
you've
that
heard it, and it's another one of those kind of opposite, opposite feelings of what he's saying sometimes in it. But that
Yeah.
one puts me in my feels.
Uh,
yeah, that one's off the Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic album,
oh, okay.
which I think might have came out in like the early 2000s. Might have been like 2003.
I
Even.
think you nailed it. I think it's 2003. That was gonna be my guess.
That was the time where, yeah, the music was, I don't know, different. I don't know. I think
That might have been one of his first.
That's when he was the symbol, right?
Like, yeah, that might have been one of his first independently released records. So I remember it was different. Like the artwork on the cover seemed different. He definitely was going by the symbol at that time, I think.
Was that a 3-disc album?
No, it was a single disc.
Oh, it was a
I
single.
think.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to revisit that one.
Fuck. Yeah, this is gonna make a great playlist.
Yeah, you got to have the Prince episode playlist, man. You got to get that on
Yeah.
Spotify.
Definitely.
I'm looking at the lyrics on the side as we're going through stuff, because half the songs I'm singing them while they're on, and then I'm thinking
Right.
right now, how come I can't think of my favorite line to that song? Because I'm feeling most of it, versus listening to it. But
Right.
that's my number 4. I love you, but I don't trust you anymore.
I love you, but I don't trust you anymore. All right. Asia, before I forget, I just want to throw out a real quick memory I have of you. And that is that one of my, like, I've been in Sacramento like since 2013. Of course, first couple of years, it was hard for me to make friends because I was just working so much and trying to figure it out. Then I started doing comedy. Oh, I started doing improv. Then I started doing comedy. Met all of you great fuckers, and you guys are like a second family now. Me, you, and Danny at the Santana concert was
Oh.
one of the absolute funnest nights that I've had, not only in Sacramento, but of my life. where at
And that
one
was
point,
totally accidental.
yeah, at one point we ended up outside by the concession stands by a tree, with some tree, and we just had our own little session. And it was probably for 30 minutes, and like Santana
was.
was playing, we could hear him perfectly, and we could kind of see him through the trees.
Yeah.
And it was just like time stood still for that like 45 minutes. Like we just had our own little session, and then we all went back to our own seats. But every time I think of Santana, I'm reminded of seeing him at Wheatland with Danny, and then we ran into you there, and we hung out with you for a little while. I lost my ATM card that night.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I'm not an ATM card loser. You know, some people like lose their ATM
Yeah.
cards every
Yeah.
other week. I'm not an ATM or sunglasses loser. And, and I got
That
pretty
night was
freaked that
magical.
night.
If
And
you were to
lost.
lose it on any night, that would have been one. That was amazing. I think I cried through that whole show, literally. Even if I was dancing, I cried.
It was such a great show. And
Have you
then
done Santana for this yet?
no, we have not. I think Santana would definitely do albums.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Just had to share that with you because I had already thought to myself, mention it. I had forgotten. So throwing it out there. One of my most memorable nights in Sacramento was with you and Danny at the Santana show.
Good vibes. Very good vibes.
Number 4, Johnny Taylor. What do you got?
Okay, number 4, Raspberry Beret,
Oh,
Yes.
which is it was hot on the heels of all the success of Purple Rain. And so everybody was kind of waiting, like, what's Prince going to come up with next? And then the first single off that next record was Raspberry Beret, and it had such a different vibe than the out of all of Prince's discography, in my opinion, the Purple Rain, that the soundtrack to Purple Rain is such a it's a rock and roll album. It's Prince at his most like hard rock influenced, and Raspberry Beret was just such pop perfection. And so following it up with that kind of like little jangly guitar,
Mhm.
simple melody, and I just think it's a fucking masterpiece.
And the video was great too. Remember the video?
Amazing animation
Yeah.
plus like live performance. Super, super dope.
I remember watching the video and thinking to myself, I fucking want to live in that world. Like
Totally.
that little world that he created with the clouds and like everyone dancing in unison, and doing the dip. And I was like, fuck, this is perfection. And you're right, Johnny. It was right after like we're like, we want, like, it was crazy. What's crazy about the album is that we wanted like, and we do this with everybody, like with the Beastie Boys, we wanted License to Ill Part 2, but we got Paul's Boutique, and like with Prince, we wanted Purple Rain Part 2, but we got fucking Around the World in a Day, which
Right there, yeah.
I think it's my favorite Prince album. It's
so good.
It's
Super underrated.
Yeah, it's his Pet Sounds. It's his Sgt. Pepper. It's him totally experimenting and just fucking doing. Like he was at the point, like I think he was already at the point where the label wasn't going to tell him no.
Right.
And you have to give him the benefit of listening to the whole album front to back.
Yes. Yeah.
Multiple
Totally.
times. Because I kind of want to say that Raspberry Beret was one that I'm like, I try not to be mainstream, but there's a reason why mainstream stuff hits. But after I kind of listened to it and felt it is when I started liking it. It wasn't because everyone's like, oh, this is one of the best,
Right.
It was one of those things I had to learn how to feel.
Yeah. It's a great pop. You're right. It's the perfect pop song. And
Yeah, I really like it.
sometimes pop isn't what you want, right? But a lot of times pop is what you remember, and it's what's safe.
Right.
Look at Hall & Oates, man.
Fuck yeah.
All right, my number 4. I have a great story about this record. Is like I used to work at the Warehouse, the record store,
Oh wow.
and it was
Warehouse Records.
Yeah,
Fucking
I worked at the Warehouse from 1992 to 1999, about 7 years too long. But that was a really great time of music too. And of course, we'd get promo copies and we'd get to play the stuff. And I remember we got this new Prince record, and like we weren't supposed to play like explicit content stuff like during store hours, but we're like, come on, it's fucking Prince. And we're like, Okay,
Right.
we're gonna play this Prince record for as long as we can go before he says a bad word, right? Fucking 49 seconds.
Uh,
We got to play 49 seconds of Pussy Control,
oh hell yeah, dude.
which was just called P Control on the record. So it's not like we knew. It just said P Control. We should have known, right? Because
What'd you think he was talking about, Jesse? Jesus Christ. Well, this is probably about piranhas.
yeah, it's been about politicians, you know. Could have been about Prince. It could have been about Paisley. No,
Prince
it was,
Control.
Oh man.
it was about if Prince isn't talking about his dick, he's talking about pussy. And
Penis control.
yeah, Pussy Control is my number 4. It's a fucking banger.
It is. It slaps, dude.
Yeah,
I have a
still,
video for that.
it's
He's
still
not here, and so I'm gonna give Jackie a hard time. And this is probably it's not gonna be TMI, but so there's this little device called a PeriFit trainer, and it's for training your pelvic floor as you age, so that your vagina doesn't fall out, or you can hold your pee in, you know.
Right.
And so we always joke that we're gonna have a tournament on stage with them. It's a game. You can like make these little, you know, catch the lotus flowers, which is perfect for this podcast. You know, but you've got to squeeze to go higher and then relax to go lower. And so when I recorded my first training session, I put that song as the background. So as the bird is going up, catching the flowers, going, ah,
Pussy control.
ow. Verse
That's
2. Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff. I've heard you guys talk about that before.
yeah.
So you're not outing anything. All right. All right. Number 3, Asia. What do you got? Number 3.
Okay. Number 3, I'm gonna have to go with Crimson and Clover.
Oh wow.
And so that is a cover, right?
The cover, yep.
Something. But just the range that he does in that song, and I like I just love what he does with that song. Baby, I think I love you. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I want to know. Beautiful music.
What is that on? Is it just a random cover, or does he have a covers album? I don't even know.
I don't know. Like I said, I find these things on playlists on YouTube somewhere, and I hear it. I'm like, oh, how have I never heard that before? Because I like the original Crimson and Clover.
Yeah, that's a Tommy James thing.
Yeah.
And it was I mean, obviously most famously covered by Joan Jett.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Prince version I have heard. Man, that is a really good cover.
Man,
Very good.
Asia with the cover deep cut.
That is
Yeah, Asia's list is banging already.
It
all
gets
right.
more simple, I promise.
Johnny, what do you got at number 3?
number 3, Head.
What are these things about?
Head is such a great song. I love the story of the song, where it's like this woman who is getting ready to get married, and she's been saving herself for her husband, and then Prince just shows up and is like, I'm gonna turn you out right before then, which I think is incredible. And again, that's my dude.
Yeah,
Get it, Prince.
he definitely has some pussy control. That's
Oh,
all.
for real.
The control.
Strep said, morning, noon, and night, I'll give you head.
All right.
But
Okay.
yeah, such a great song. And it's just like, it still just slaps to this day.
My number 3. So my number 3 got penciled in just at the start of this podcast.
Breaking news.
Yeah, because I had my list ready, and I was driving across town this morning to go to the grocery store, and I put in a Prince playlist, and I forgot how this song fucking inspires the hell out of me. Baby, I'm a Star.
Oh,
Oh,
so
yes.
Fuck this song. Take a picture, sweetie. I ain't got time to waste.
good. Yeah.
When I was like
I'm getting chills.
when I was deep in comedy, like when I was like going up like every fucking night, I would have like I would have my earbuds on,
In
and
your head,
I
huh?
would be and I would it was like my before this night is through, you will see my point of view, even if I have to scream and shout.
Yeah.
This song just inspires the fuck out of me anytime I hear it. And it's almost like, you know how like Jackson Brown has that song The Loadout and Stay, where like you have to hear them back to back. It's almost like Baby I'm a Star and I Would Die for You are kind of like the same way. Like you have to hear them back to back, or it's kind of missing, like something feels unfinished, you know. But
Right.
Baby I'm a Star, off of course, Purple Rain. Um, fuck, that whole movie is so great. I watched just the music scenes today from the movie, and God, it's so good.
Yeah.
Um,
In that scene, that is, the beginning. It's like, okay, this is real now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's like,
He didn't even know he was a star before that, but he was convinced by that moment, and it didn't take long for the rest of everyone else to know it. Yeah,
you're,
I can watch that movie all day.
you're
It's
absolutely right. There's commentary with the director where he says that when they were setting up shots for the concert scenes, that Prince would tell him, okay, when the song's over, I want to be right here. And then the director would be like, it's not going to work in the framing because you're starting here and then you got to be here. You don't have enough time. And he's like, no, I'll
Yeah,
get there.
I'll get there. Don't worry.
Yeah, he's like, don't worry, I'm going to be here. And he said, and he would do it every fucking time. Like, and it just looked like what he was doing was so spontaneous, but it was so
No,
precise. Like,
very calculated.
yeah. And
He wouldn't have been, his art wouldn't have been what it were had he not been so calculated.
yeah,
It must have, I mean, I know it was terribly hard to work with him, and that's reflected in that movie. The difficulty of working with a diva that hasn't quite divaed out completely yet. So it's like, really? You want us to do all this? And come on, dude, this is just like this club gig. But he knew
yeah.
he was headed somewhere and he knew how to accomplish it
Well, I
with
think
those things.
one of the best scenes from that movie where what you're talking about right now is when he gets into it with the club owner, when he's like, your music makes sense to no one but yourself. Like
Mhm.
that whole back and forth is like kind of what you just touched on, of like, a diva who hasn't quite diva'd out yet, and he's not quite a star yet, but before the night is through, right? um yeah, Baby I'm a Star is my number 3. I can love that
good.
song.
So
Yeah.
good.
Oh,
Asia.
the pressure is on.
Asia, number 2.
Okay. Number 2 is gosh darn it.
You can change it.
I'm not gonna. Okay, so the last 2 are definitely from the Purple Rain album, but that's just because it resonates with me so much.
So
But
good.
Darlin' Nikki has to be my number.
Hell yes.
Fuck.
Hell yes.
I mean, just the boldness of what he was doing on stage to her. Like, oh, really, bitch? Okay, well, I'll show you. And you can tell the band is like, ah, fuck, here we go. But he went all the way there, and I just love his attitude and the effect that it had, on everybody for different reasons. But yeah, I'll karaoke the hell out of Darlin' Nikki.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
That whole scene where he just starts off and he's just slapping himself, and
Yeah.
dude, yeah,
It takes you on this walk, and for it to escalate the way that it did, it was just, I like the building of the suspension, and by the end, just the temper tantrum that he had on stage. It was,
Oh yeah.
I love that temper
Fucking
tantrum.
stomping around. So good.
It was great. I've never seen a man stomp around in heels so
Oh,
well.
I know.
yeah. I remember we watched Purple Rain one night many years ago with a friend who was like, she knew who Prince was, but she didn't know who Prince was, right? And she had never seen Purple Rain, and we were watching it, and then she said, he's so handsome and pretty. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
totally
don't
the
think
perfect.
there's been ever any woman ever that's like, oh my God, ew, he's too feminine.
yeah.
Right.
Like, I've never been so attracted to someone so very not even feminine though. You don't get that energy from him. It's just the way that he is. So I tell people, I'm like, well, what do you do when you're 5 foot nothing and you weigh
Right.
10 pounds? You make it happen somehow. And just I've never felt nothing but pure just those pheromones of his. They translate through screens and headphones and speakers.
And it's just like that coy little smile that he would have, and just like Jimmy Fallon, I was watching today, talked about like his eyes, like how his eyes were just so like
Communicate so much with.
Yeah. Jimmy Fallon told the ping pong story about playing ping pong against him, and I was just deep into the Prince YouTube this morning. So yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
I'm gonna
a,
paint those eyes on my wall.
oh
The
yeah,
eyes on the album with the half. I'm looking
yeah.
at it on my wall that I gotta paint it, but I definitely want those eyes looking at me every night.
He's the only guy I ever wanted to have sex with, but it made me feel like a lesbian. You know what I mean? He had that energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like afterwards, I'm like, how was it? Like
Yeah.
like it's still like you'd be crying a little bit,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
funny.
like two men having sex, but
Yeah.
it's like girl at the
Right.
food
And
somehow.
afterwards I'd be like,
Somehow.
I hope I'm pregnant. Like
It's
please.
the strangest Pornhub category of all time.
There's a funny interview online where gosh, who is it? Don Lemon or something? I don't know his name. Somebody's interviewing Prince and he goes, I hear you were supposed to be on the bad track. And he's like, I turned that down as soon as I read the first lyric. He goes, this is him talking to me. Your butt is mine. He was like,
Right. Yeah, he said that. He's like,
It was
I seen that
very-
interview where he's all,
yeah,
you heard what he said.
yeah.
He said, your butt is mine. I was like, oh, France, you went there, didn't you?
He went all the way there.
You
He
went
really-
in.
But that was also, another showcase of his sense of
He was
humor.
just being funny, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I
good.
absolutely believe what he said when he was saying it.
So funny.
Awesome. Johnny Taylor, what do you got at number 2?
Number 2, I'm gonna go with A Sign of the Times. One of, in my opinion, especially for at that time, maybe the most important track that was released as a single at that time. Just talking about the AIDS crisis, talking about the heroin crisis way earlier than anybody else was, and just so real. And that, kind of stripping away the funk and just that down, and it's just like so good, super powerful,
Yeah.
and just, in my opinion, just a really important song.
And it holds up. Like you could do it now.
I was gonna
like,
say, so much of his music is so relevant. still.
Timeless.
yeah. And like Prince has this thing where kind of like Bruce Springsteen, where it's like, they've never worked a regular 9-to-5 job in their lives. Like they've never like had to file for unemployment, or they've never like had this struggle, but they could tell the struggle of the common man, and it feels like he's lived it, And like what
Right.
Johnny was saying, like he focused in on all of these subjects that like weren't being like talked about, but they were
Right.
obviously there, Yeah. Sign of the Times. And that was on my list, and I took it off and replaced it with Baby I'm a Star. But then I put it over here. Okay. Sign of the Times. Wow. We're at okay, so we're on my number 2. And I think this is our first repeat. Yeah. So my number 2 is Raspberry Beret.
All right. Raspberry Beret makes a return appearance.
Yeah. Because like Johnny said, like it was like fresh off I was a freshman in high school, or maybe I was in 8th grade. I'm old as fuck, guys. And
we know Jesse.
And Purple Rain was like our Elvis, was our Beatles. Like it was like what we grasped onto and was like, this is our music. And we were waiting for that follow up and for it to come out and just be so good. And then grab the album and it's like, whoa, this is completely different from what we expected. But Raspberry Beret, it comes on and it could be a hit single right now. Like it could get released right now.
Totally
And
agree.
like Johnny said it earlier, it's the perfect pop song. So I won't go on and on about it because we've already talked about it, but it's such a great song. All right, we're getting ready. Oh shit, we're at our number 1s. I always like posting these on Facebook and asking people to give what their top fives are. And so I obviously did it this week. And I just want to see, I got right here. I try not to post too much more afterwards because then 27 comments. And let's see, let's find some people that we all know and love. Hector Carlos Miranda. I love this kid.
He's so stupid. I love him too.
Yeah.
He's the best. He's the best. Number 5, Kiss. I'm surprised we haven't heard that.
Oh yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh, wow. Number 5, Kiss. Number 4, I Would Die for You. Number 3, Baby I'm a Star. 2, Party Up because of the SNL performance. And
Party Up's such a jam.
number 1, Computer Blue.
Oh, that song fucking
Oh my
rules,
God, how is
dude.
that? See, I hate this life. I hate this life with these
Till I get a righteous
limited
one.
decisions.
Yeah, Tara Christian Wiedner, who's just this really great comic from Seattle area, who her Zoom shows kind of saved my sanity during the worst parts of the pandemic. But Tara, and we're both from Bakersfield, so I have this bond with Tara. Tara Christian Wiedner, 5 to 1. Let's Go Crazy, Sexy Motherfucker, Kiss, Pussy Control, I Would Die for You.
All great songs.
Yep.
Amazing. Everyone's lists are amazing.
A couple of my Bakersfield homies, Matt Munoz, who is the lead singer of Mento Buru. Mento Buru is the song that I play before all of the telenovela shows. All those cool, funky ska Latin sounds that I play. He comes with I Feel For You, Uptown, Controversy, 1999, and Let's Work.
Let's Work. That's such a great song too. Oh man.
Here's a guy, you guys might know him, Robert Berry.
Heard of him?
Yeah. Without dispute, his top 5 are Purple Rain, I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man.
What a great song.
If I Was Your Girlfriend.
Another great song.
Sometimes It Snows in April.
Oh.
And the beautiful ones. Robert going with like the softer, gentler.
Rob Berry is a soft ass bitch. Dude.
Yeah, he really is, and he shows it on this
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, dude.
And my friend Cesario agrees with him, says right on. Mario Barone, who was my homie during these early Prince days. Mario Barone and I went to junior high together. Do Me Baby, Raspberry Beret, Take Me With You, Purple Rain, and Erotic City.
Wait, he had Take Me With You on his top 5?
He did.
Me
Have Take Me
with you.
Yeah,
Oh.
the one where Apollonia's on the back of the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And let's do one.
I
more.
don't care where we go.
This guy Javier Montes, he's a great DJ. DJ'd my 25th birthday party back in the 90s. His top 5 is Lady Cab Driver, Erotic City, Pink Cashmere, Nothing Compares to You, and Adore.
Wow.
Adore got mentioned on my Instagram post
On my list.
asking for people's top 5s.
Oh yeah, that's a sneaky great song.
It's
Yeah.
on my list, and I actually wrote that second on
What
the list.
what do you have as so let's do our honorable mentions now. Asia, what do you have that you just, it didn't make your top 5, but you gotta fucking talk about
It did though. So a lot of these, it was like, okay, what am I? Because I'm an empath, so it depends on what I'm feeling and whether or not it's my top song. But they all had alternates. But I did list Purple Rain. I did list Adore. Computer Blue. I also love that because I just love what he's doing with the guitar on there. And I mean, without even seeing what they're doing in the movie, when he plays that really fast riff and it's like, I just love every bit of the energy of that.
Oh, yeah.
That was definitely on my list. And Do Me made the list just because, you know, I'm a little bit freaky. And I'll save my number 1. There's probably a jillion more songs. I couldn't even.
Going back to Computer Blue and the whole Purple Rain movie, that riff that he does that is from the piano. Remember, his dad is playing that that really slowly on the piano.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 right? And he asks his
Yep.
dad, "Did you write that?" He's like, "Of course, I wrote it." You know.
Yeah.
And then when he like incorporates that later on in that guitar solo, that's just like,
Yeah. So
and
much of, yeah, I really,
that
that's why I
movie.
love watching that movie. And there's always something else that you find in there. Cause I grew up watching it as a kid. I mean, my
Uh-huh.
mom had us watching that and listening to Raw and Delirious. And like I said, it was just
Yeah. Same.
the reason why I'm a little bit touched these days. But yeah, just um I forgot where I was going. I got distracted, so I'll just stop talking.
That's okay. Johnny,
Yeah,
tell
that
us.
movie just amazing. I could watch it 100 more times today and still find another gem in it.
Yeah.
And here's what I should say. All
Just
right. If I could have put this in my top five, but I've never been able to find it isolated. But that song that's playing when he starts making love to Apollonia in the room, the sex song.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. How is that not available anywhere?
I think it's on the expanded Purple Rain that's on iTunes now.
You think so?
Yeah, because what's also on there is like the extended "Let's Go Crazy" with all the extra piano in the middle of it, and that piano part that his dad is playing is in that. So, and it's probably on Spotify too. But maybe a year or two ago they came out with like an expanded deluxe Purple Rain, and it's got all of these bonus tracks, and I bet you it's on there.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
The closest I've been able to get to that and try and feel the same thing is Europa by Santana, but I think that is very underrated as a song itself, and it should have lasted longer in the movie.
I love Europa. I love it. It's on Moonflower, right?
Yeah.
Live album. Yeah, yeah. Great. Johnny, what did you have as honorable mentions?
I had Lady Cab Driver on there. I had Dance Music Sex Romance.
Oh,
I had Controversy. I had Dirty Mind. I had I Want to Be Your Lover. Man, there's so many that I went through. Computer Blue was
yeah,
on there.
yeah.
Yes, Anastasia, another kind of like underrated deep cut. Um, yeah, so many of them. I mean, I could go on and on. There's so many. Kiss, Mountains off the Parade album, I think is an incredible fucking song. Yeah, that's
It was so hard for me to not put the whole Purple Rain album on
Right,
here.
I know.
Darling Nikki.
It was so hard. Yeah. My also rans were my name is Prince, Sexy Motherfucker, Sign of the Times, the song Paisley Park, who I used to have a dog and I named her Paisley. And I fucking absolutely love that. Like I said, like when that Raspberry Beret video came out, I wanted to live in that world. And then when this album came out and he just talked about like all of this like utopia, you know, like this there is it's so psychedelic and so trippy. I hadn't even started smoking weed yet, and I was like, this is great. Like I love it. But all right, man, let's get onto the headliner here. Let's get onto our number ones. Asia, what's your number one? I'm curious. What's your number one? The beautiful.
So, yep, the beautiful ones. And I don't know, like I said, it just gives me the feels. And I feel like it's also me chasing things that I don't necessarily know if I want. I just think I want them. So I don't know. There's this feeling that it gives me. It's like, well, how come I'm not good enough for you? You know, I want you really bad, and you sure that's what you want to do? But then often, I don't know. So I just love that song.
Yeah.
That album. It was really hard. Like every one of us have said, it's hard not to base this whole thing on the Purple Rain album, because that in itself was just an experience. If you listen to some of the original recordings of that, it's just, yeah. And that one, it touches me every time. I can listen to it anytime.
Yeah, I remember one time I worked in a call center, and I was like the workforce manager, so I didn't have to be on the phones. I was up in the tower, and I got to play music for everybody, And I remember one time, like I just randomly played The Beautiful Ones, and seeing how many people on the call center floor were just like, and then they started acting out the "Do you want him?" And I was like, fuck, everybody loves this fucking song. Like, I didn't realize like how big the Prince universe was, you know. I thought I was just a nerdy kid who loved music, but no, everybody loved Prince. And The Beautiful.
Yeah, and that's like I said, I think that's the musicology of what he does and what he has done, is affecting those feelings on such a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
Is something within itself. You know, we don't all look the same. All three
Just look
of
at
us.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hispanic guy, we've got a white guy, got a black woman here, all, you know, fully invested in Prince, you know?
Yeah.
How often do you
So-
find that with
so
another
cool.
band?
Yeah. And the one thing we keep agreeing on is like, there's so much more we could add to this. Like we're all still holding back on so much of our Prince. Yep, absolutely right.
We even talk about the songs he wrote for other people. Like,
Totally. Telling you. Fucking nothing compares to you,
Whole other
man. One day.
podcast.
right?
Yeah. Johnny Taylor, what do you have at number one?
I have The Beautiful Ones.
Wow.
Is also my number one. Yep. In my opinion, just one of the most emotionally provocative songs ever written. Just completely honest,
Vulnerable.
very vulnerable, so vulnerable, you know. And again, it's beautiful, just so beautiful, but also like so much passion at the end. That scream at the end is
Oh
just
yeah.
the fucking "I want you." And it's
I've been getting chills this whole pod. I've been getting chills just thinking about those, you know.
yeah, and one of the highlights of the Purple Rain movie, in my opinion, you know, probably the one of the most important scenes in the whole movie, I think, you know, where it was you know, Morris Day and Prince both vying for Apollonia's attention, and Prince just laying it all out there on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking just magic, complete magic.
The Beautiful Ones. All right. This is the first, guys. This is the first for the top 5 podcast, because The Beautiful Ones is sweeping the
Oh wow,
category.
amazing.
It is also my number one.
Wow.
The Beautiful Ones is my number one, and it's just like what can you say? Like Asia, you nailed it. Like, is it even what I want? You know,
Right.
like we think this is what we want. This is what we're supposed to be chasing, but is it really going to make me happy? Like, is it?
Right.
I remember like, yeah, there's
You're
not
working really hard for something that is, you know, to work so hard. And I equate it to comedy these days. It's like, you know,
fuck yeah.
I'm you know, there's this struggle, and Jesse and I were talking about my day profession, you know, and I've recently had some changes with that. So a lot of my thought processes are, okay, what happens with comedy if I make this decision over here?
Right.
And I sacrificed, you know, so much for the comedy to be important. Now do I just give up on? So it's the beautiful one to me right now, but it's like it always smashes the picture.
Yeah.
No matter what, you're left just feeling raw and hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Beautiful Ones hurt you every time.
every
Mhm.
time.
Always, every
Every
time.
time.
Chills right now. Okay, so I guess the hard part is done for us. Like, we know The Beautiful Ones is number one, right?
We can now say that is undisputedly the best Prince song.
There you
It
go.
is-
We
it
are
is-
the authority
Yeah,
on this.
but
decision.
we've got 4 other positions to fill. Raspberry Beret was the only other song that got mentioned twice.
True.
Pretty
At
sure.
At 2 and 4.
Yeah, so I almost feel that like is Raspberry Beret number 2, or should it be like number 3?
Hmm.
Well, so many of those other suggestions that we had, though, you know,
Uh-huh.
were multiples.
So let's say
Raspberry Beret made the list, but I would die for views that all 12 people, you know, quoted.
Yeah. Baby I'm a Star came up a bunch.
let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. So we know Beautiful Ones is number 1. We're gonna put Raspberry Beret over here on the side. Now that leaves 3 spaces open So we're gonna each take one from our list and say that this has to be on the list. So Asia, you got Reflections, I Love You, but I Don't Trust You, Crimson and Clover, Darling Nikki, because you already got Beautiful Ones. Of those four, which one are you gonna say this is what I'm carrying over to the top five?
I'm gonna take a gamble, and I want Reflections to be there just so that other people get to experience that, because I bet you
Okay.
a billion people have never heard it.
Reflections. All right.
I'm cool with that.
All right. Johnny, you've got Let's Pretend We're Married, Head, and Sign of the Times, because Raspberry Beret and Beautiful Ones is already on the list. So of Let's Pretend We're Married, Head, and Sign of the Times, which one do you think just absolutely needs to be on the list?
I'm gonna say Sign of the Times.
I was hoping
I
you would
agree
say
with
Sign
that.
of the Times.
Definitely.
All right. So then I have 1999, Pussy Control, Baby I'm a Star. So I have those three. I'm gonna say 1999, and I'm gonna say that 1999. Well, okay, so then this is what I want to do, and then let me see if you guys agree with me. Asia, you said Reflections is yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I'm gonna just jot this down, and then let me see if you guys agree with me. Then what if our final top five is number 5, Reflections, number 4, 1999, number 3, Raspberry Beret, number 2, Sign of the Times, and number 1, The Beautiful Ones?
That's a good list.
Yeah, here's what I say.
Oh,
However you rank them, it's gold. You literally can rank those in any. You can literally rank them in any order at all. They're all mad. They're all 1A, 1B in my opinion. So
absolutely, guys, gals, this was so much fun, and I guess Jackie didn't make it.
She's asleep.
We missed you, Jackie.
Yeah, sorry, Jackie.
She shouldn't have been.
You snooze, you lose.
She shouldn't have been harassing us at 5 in the morning.
Fucking word up, dude.
Man,
completely.
If you're texting me at 5 in the morning, it better be for something else. That's all I got to say.
Seriously.
Not.
Time.
She's texting us to show us interviews with Dave Grohl.
I'm like, I saw that interview,
Right.
Which is a really cool interview. There's so many great interviews. Kevin Smith has a great interview where he talks about playing basketball with Prince.
Yeah.
Of course, Charlie Murphy's got some Prince stories, right? Yeah.
Oh God, a million of them.
Yeah, Charlie Murphy's got great Prince stories. Dave Grohl, Jimmy Fallon, so many people have just, and none of the Prince stories repeat. Or like so many other like famous people where you like, they tell a story like, oh yeah, it happened to so-and-so, but like, no, like he challenged you to fucking ping pong. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like
the worst part of him passing away was I went to go see him at Paramount Theater for that piano and a microphone.
Yes. Fuck.
Did you go to one of those?
No, I didn't
It
go.
felt like a goodbye.
Fuck.
Okay, so I'm sitting in the disabled section of like, so I'm very close to him. I mean, at least maybe 10 yards away is this piano and him, and he was so frail and so tiny, but the whole show felt like a goodbye.
Damn.
And I couldn't figure out why.
And then
But it felt like he was
Fuck.
saying goodbye in that moment, and it was just the most beautiful experience that I had. But and then he died 2 or 3 months later, and I knew it felt like that.
Wow.
And I just being in the same room with him,
Right.
and the people that are there, and again, just the variety of people. We're definitely fortunate to have been a part of a generation that got to be, got to experience him while he was living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny,
Yeah,
did
but-
you ever see him?
Yeah, I saw him twice. I saw him Diamonds and Pearls tour. I caught his sunglasses. He fucking threw them out in the crowd. I caught his shades. fucking so tight. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, I don't have them anymore. I lost them in some divorce probably. But
Oh. Wait.
yeah, super moment.
Wow. What other tour did you see him on?
I saw Diamonds and Pearls, and then I saw him in 2009 for one of those late album tours.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the release was, but he played most of Purple Rain in its entirety, which was super fucking dope.
We gotta get together one of these nights and have a Purple Rain.
Watch party. Fuck
Yeah,
yeah,
we gotta-
dude. I don't think Alicia's ever seen it.
What?
Yeah,
We got a Purple Rain virgin.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. We'll have to have a watch party. It'll be fun.
Yeah. I think I know the backyard that we could do it in. I think I got a friend that's got a projector and a backyard and loves hosting people in her backyard.
Oh, I think I know the same person.
Yeah, I think we're gonna make this happen, but sooner than later.
Cool.
Johnny, Asia, thank you so much for taking time on a Saturday morning. We know how hard it is for some people to be here on a Saturday
Yes.
morning at
Sometimes
11.
you get real sleepy on Saturdays.
Yeah, so I appreciate you guys. I consider you guys friends, and I can't wait to see you guys. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Thanks,
Thanks for
Jesse.
having us, Jesse. This was a beautiful, beautiful time this morning.
Yeah, it was fun.
Beautiful and swept it. I'm so happy about that.